What's going on, everyone? So, Lakers roster is ridiculous. And you have basically everything filled out. Yeah, could you use another maybe like shooting guard? Sure. Could you use another more sizable center? Absolutely. Right? Like the big concern would be like you have a matchup against Jokic, or you have a matchup against like Steven Adams or Valanciunas or whatever, like these bigger, beefier type centers, right? Like who defends those guys if it's not Anthony Davis? But overall, I just think this roster has so much talent. And they have so much depth. You can make a legit argument for like 12 of the 14 guys to start. Like legitimately. And there would be a fair point for all of them. And Darvin Ham, again, I've talked about it, is really going to have his work cut out for him. But they also have those other two guys that definitely won't ever start by any means. There's a real question if they'll ever even play. And that is the two rookies, right? Jalen Schifino, Maxwell Lewis. But I wanted to kind of have a discussion with you all on like, could any of them actually break the rotation and potentially get some playing time? I'm not talking about them playing 30 minutes a game or anything like that. The more likely scenario is they just spend time in the G League and they only see the court when it's like garbage time. Lakers are up 30 in the fourth quarter with like 3 minutes left, right? Something like that is probably the only time they'll see the basketball court. But again, this roster still has holes. Darvin Ham is the kind of coach that loves competition and loves guys to potentially earn a spot. And both guys have looked very raw at times, but both guys have looked like they could be something one day. Now, Maxwell Lewis personally, I think has no shot. Now, maybe at the two guard spot, but again, I think you have Christie, you have Austin Reeves, you have D'Lo that you could slide over. You could even go Gabe Vincent at the two if you needed to, Taurean Prince, Cam Reddish, right? You have several guys that could absolutely plug in at the two if need be. So the two spot isn't really that big of a need, but Maxwell Lewis, if he was ever going to have a shot, it would be in the backup two role because he would never be able to see playing time at the small forward and power forward. Like we just have way too much depth. Could he play those positions? Absolutely, right? And one day he may end up being, the backup or maybe even a starter for the Lakers, right? If he's really good, he has all the tools to be a great two-way player, and he's shown those promises, right? So I just think, one, he's too raw right now, and two, I just think the positions that he would be best suited in are just stacked, right? Like that's where the log jam is, and I don't see him being able to fight and overcome like a Jared Vanderbilt, a Rui Hachimura, a Taurean Prince, a Cam Reddish. Like it's just the list is too deep for him to actually get an opportunity. Jalen Schifino, though, I actually wouldn't be surprised if he potentially got some minutes, right? Because he can play both guard spots. He could even play, because he's like 6'6", right? You could put him at the 3 and the 4 if you wanted to, in spots. Again, not saying you do that regularly. He's not good enough shooter, but, in a pinch, right? Like he could basically play 1 through 4 if you needed him to and kind of be a point forward, stuff like that. But again, those positions are way too deep. I don't really see him getting an opportunity there. Just something I wanted to throw out there. But as far as an opportunity at the point guard position or even maybe the two guard, I could see that happening, right? Because our point guard depth is right now D'Lo and Gabe Vincent. Now, you have, of course, LeBron James. LeBron James doesn't really want to be on the ball very much, if at all, right? Now, him saying that and him actually doing it are two different things. But we did see him do that towards the back half of the season last year and the playoffs. He was playing off the ball, letting Austin Reeves handle the ball, let D'Lo handle the ball, all of that, right? How much of that was because of injury and how much of that was he is actually showing the willingness to do so? Time will tell. We'll see this year. Austin Reeves, I definitely think he's more than willing to play off the ball for, but would he do that for D'Lo? Would he do that for Schifino? Now, if the Lakers, if D'Lo misses a game or, Gabe Vincent misses a game, or you have Reeves miss a game. Could Schifino get like 15 minutes on any given night? Sure. I absolutely could see that happening. And I wouldn't even mind giving him that opportunity. I think Schifino is a guy that could come in. One, could give you a completely different look than all our other guards, because he is a guy that has the size, the quickness, and the strength to finish through contact and go coast to coast. So he's a guy that the Lakers were number 2 in pace last year, and they absolutely love to go up and down the court. They're usually one of the most, athletic, like pace running teams. A lot of that is because of LeBron. He likes to, just get out, transition. They also had Russell Westbrook, so some of that. But they still were getting out when they did the trade. Schifino's a guy that you could throw in there and just say, go, right? Like, just, you get the ball, take off. Don't wait. Go, right? Make plays for others. Knock down some shots. Also, his shot did start coming around a little bit, right? We saw that towards the back half. And then also, he looked really good in that little Lakers scrimmage. Like, he looked like he was looking very solid. Now, I don't know, again, how much he would actually get in those spots, right? Like, is 15 minutes too much if, like, a Gabe Vincent is out or whatever? Or would he just kind of, like, throw him in? But I also don't hate the idea of, like, even during the race, even if everybody's healthy, I don't even hate the idea of, like, putting Schifino at point guard and then running, like, Cam Reddish, Jackson Hayes, Max Christie, and, like, I don't know, Jared Vanderbilt, Taurean Prince or something like that. And just go, right? Just put all the young guys out there and just run on these guys, right? Like, Schifino, you get to be the point guard and you just take off, right? Give Reeves and D'Lo and everybody some rest. And maybe for like 5 minutes a game, it's just like a track meet with the Lakers and Schifino. And you just have him just go, go, right? And you put all the young, athletic, quick-footed type guys out there and just let them be in that track race. I actually think that that's not a bad idea at all for just like a different look, different change of pace, right? Like, throw it out there for a game or two and see what it looks like. What if it's great? What if you're like, yeah, dude, like, the Lakers are like a plus 10 in that time or something crazy like that, right? Like, it's very possible. And you would have defense, right? If you went with a lineup like that, everybody would be switchable, right? Especially Schifino. He could basically guard 1 through 4. So you have a lot of versatility in something like that. Again, more likely than not, neither of these guys ever see the court outside of, again, garbage time or whatever. But I do think if you had to pick one of these two to be the most likely to see the basketball court, I actually think Schifino could potentially be that. And I actually wouldn't even be surprised if Darvin Ham gave him like minutes here and there randomly, even with Gabe Vincent, even with D'Lo, even with Reeves, right? Like, if he wants to keep guys' minutes low, it's like, you play D'Lo his 20 minutes, you play Gabe Vincent his 20 minutes, and then you throw Schifino out there for the other 8 and just let him get some run, let him get some reps to see what he's got. Obviously, if he's just out there stinking up the place, then you take him out. But, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with giving some of these guys a little look here and there, right? Like, let's see. I mean, they did it with Christie last year. Granted, you needed them more last year than this year. I mean, if you're playing Schifino or Lewis out of desperation, something's going terribly wrong. So knock on wood in that regard. But, I mean, if you want to just, again, get a couple looks at them and just say, like, hey, it's a long season. Let's give them, a quarter of the season. You're not going to play every game. You're not going to play heavy minutes or anything like that. But, a game here and there will give you 8 to 10 minutes. If one of the guys, Vincent or D'Lo, are out, or maybe even Reeves is out, we'll give you a look at the point or the 2 guard. And kind of, again, minutes won't be crazy, but, yeah, we'll give you a little look. I actually think you could, and I actually think it'd make a lot of sense. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think either of these guys have a real shot at potentially, earning any type of minutes, any type of roster spot? Do you think, no, not going to happen, they'll just spend time in the G League? Would you want either of them to get some minutes? Because like I said, I mean, you got a long season, right? You want to keep minutes low. You want to give guys nights off, stuff like that. Like, rely on the rookies. Throw them out there. Let them get a little run. Who knows? Maybe one of them ends up having a big impact. But I think Schifino is more likely. But do you agree? Disagree? Somewhere between? How do you feel? Love